Okay, so I want to go over the Tradebook lesson plan that I chose. I chose Animal Parents and Their Offspring. The book that I chose was Penguins by Gail Gibbons. I was able to locate a complete read aloud of this book on YouTube. However, if I was going to teach this lesson plan, I would probably use Amazon and purchase a few copies of this book. I was able to find the book on Amazon and it was fairly inexpensive. The grade level that my book went with was grades 3rd through 5th, living in groups purpose. A few things that I really liked about this lesson plan is it offered um, critical thinking by the students. So in the engage section of the lesson plan, it has questions that are to be asked for different page numbers. So like here, page 11 through 13, you would ask the students, why do penguins come together and form rookeries once a year? What are some of the behaviors that change when they are in these groups? Students can take the time, they can record their answers, and it also kind of tests for their knowledge as they go, as you go through the book. They can write down in their journals the answers to their questions, and then at the end of the lesson you can check their understanding by reviewing their journals. Another great thing about this lesson plan was it offered a group activity, and in this group activity students would be in groups of 3 to 4. They would be given a animal group to study, or they can choose a animal group from a list, and they would be given this animal group sheet, and they would work together and answer all these questions. Um, I really like small groups. I think it's a great way for students to participate in active learning. They can work together, answer questions, and research the information together. It's just a fun way for them to learn. Once their group has researched their animal group, they come back and provide an oral presentation to the rest of the class where they share their findings, and they also record the findings of other students. They will be given this sheet and record the findings of the other groups. So they'd write down the animal name, the group it lives in, who lives in the group, type of shelter, and they just record an overall comparison of each group. Once they've completed their animal groups and their comparison sheets, they come back together and there's a class project which I thought was really fun. They will use crackers, sugar, anything that would attract ants. As a class, locate an ant hill or several ant hills, and they will place the crackers, sugar, etc. next to the ant holes, and then they would record the behavior of the ants. So they would answer questions such as, what they think the ants are going to do, what the ants actually do, how many ants, and things like that. And then the final question that they would answer is they would write a claim about what the colony did, how they worked together, and how they survive. And they would support this claim with evidence so they could do some research individually on ants and ant colonies. This was a really fun lesson plan with a lot of interactive activities for the students. I think it would be a great lesson to teach in the spring. So you could locate some ant hills, and it could be taught over a week or even a couple weeks to give them enough time to research their animal groups. So I filled out my Tradebook worksheet, answered all the questions. The things that I found interesting and unusual about the lesson plan was it breaks the reading into sections. I thought that was great. And it was real interesting that a lesson plan did that. It allowed the students to conduct research on their own and in small groups. I thought that was really interesting. It gave them the opportunity to research in small groups a different animal group, and then on their own they can conduct research about ant colonies. The most interesting thing to me about this whole lesson plan was the ant study. It wasn't something that I would have come up with on my own necessarily, but I thought it was really great and fun. Um, Again, I have to say the thing I really liked about this was the small group project. I think small groups are a great way to learn. It also allows for students time to work together and they can help each other in areas where they may be struggling. Um, I couldn't really think of any major concerns that I would have regarding this lesson plan. I think it was a great lesson plan. The one thing would be making sure that there was ant hills available to do the ant study. Um, the rating I gave on this was as close to a 10 as possible. I think it's a great lesson plan. I have saved it and I will be using this one in my future classroom. And finally, in learning the 5E lesson plan, I thought it was great that we just were able to take the information from the original lesson plan and input it into this lesson plan. It was a great way to learn how to complete this lesson plan, and it was very helpful to me in figuring it out. This is a very different lesson plan style than I'm used to. So having the opportunity to input the information was a great way for me to learn it because I typically am a learn by doing. So, all right, that is my lesson plan. Um, I look forward to seeing everyone else's lesson plans and how it went for them. Bye.